The fact that we exist in the world where wars, hostility, conflicts, violence, lack of understanding, poverty, famine and fear of death are still being our daily reality speaks for itself. Up until now, none of the currently existing sources of knowledge has come up with anyhow logically well-grounded conception, which would consider the intellectually scientific and the moral points of view of the modern human society in relation to its own vital issues. We live in the wonderful era when the blind faith loses its dominant role in an attitude of a man to the world and in interrelations of people.
How can we change the existing interpersonal relations within a global human society into the considerably more harmonious relations of the future? How can we construct the interpersonal relations within our global planetary society, which are based upon such human qualities as positivity, loving-kindness, mutual understanding, clemency, and highly intellectual altruism, coupled with highly sensual intellect? Is there a solution, you may ask? Definitely. The solution is the elevation of quality of the individual self-consciousness. There is an experimental project, International Information, Altruism and Intellect Development Center (IVAR) in Russia, the model of the profound balancing of social interrelations which exists for a few years now. The essence of the project is based on the synthesis of highly intellectual sensuality coupled with highly sensual intellect. The source of this synthesis is the universal knowledge called Iissiidiology, which is harmoniously combined with the deep altruistic meaning of Ivar's songs. On the basis of this universal knowledge, thousands of people are already implementing and rationalizing absolutely new kind of interpersonal relationships with each other as well as with the surrounding area.
The Iissiidiology consists of newest cosmological conceptions concerning the universe and the humankind. It perfectly correlates with the multi-world and superstring theories, quantum mechanics, nuclear physics, social psychology and wave genetics, but in its specification, completeness and consistency of the transmitted information, this knowledge tremendously surpasses and exceeds all conventional scientific perceptions regarding the universal structure as a whole and all living organisms in particular.
One of the axiomatic notions of the Iissiidiology is being the multi-world conception, logically explaining the primordial existence of the variable multitudes of forms and events of our surrounding reality, either accessible or not yet accessible to our subjective perception. The practical application of the Iissiidiology knowledge facilitates the conscious choice-making towards the more favorable scenarios out of the infinite multitude of them in any situation, by means of self-consciousness focus reprojecting from one already existing form into the other.
You can learn how to perform this from the Iissiidiology, which rather soon will inevitably merge with science, providing it with more genuine perceptions regarding the true nature of all.
Then the comprehension of the fact that the research surrounding reality objectively doesn't exist anywhere but within our own subjective perception in the same exact fashion as we actually imagine it will lead our scientists to the understanding that their experimental conclusions also can't be considered objective and independent form of the development level of their own self-consciousness. Thus, the primary conception of the Iissiidiology is an intuitive cognition based upon the constant elevation of the mentally sensual perception quality, in the consequence of which any existential creation area, as well as the objectivity and veracity of any types of research, tremendously increases.
The comprehensive singing of more than 500 IFAR songs considerably contributes to the development of high sensuality. Their lyrics are written onto popular melodies of the past century. Also, they are filled with profound humanistic meaning. The everyday performance of these songs is the efficient developing method for the psychic, spiritual, and physical state and its improvement, providing the necessary synthesis of the combined highly intellectual sensuality with highly sensual intellect. It is well known that any song or a melody is above all a source of information, And the quality of this transmitted musical energy greatly determines not only the physical health and the psychic state of an individual, but most importantly, all circumstances of his life.
The Ivar song lyrics contain absolutely positive and altruistic information, actively tuning the performer as well as the listener exclusively to the warm-hearted joy, kindly love, aspiration of beauty and harmony, benevolence, and strive towards the high-frequency objectives. Performers become inspired with the essence of the songs, projecting their sublime feelings on the surrounding reality, automatically concentrating their thoughts and senses on altruism and highly spiritual state of mind. We sustain our movement towards the humanism and tolerance strengthening within our global society by means of the expansion of Ivar songs, together with an altruistic concert performance activity. The listeners enjoy the highly sensual lyrics of our songs with joy and sublimed inspired mutual understanding, and all of us consistently become more perfect, more intellectual and more altruistic. These us already existing throughout the more favorable realities of our individual future manifestations.
Thus, all of us learn to maintain our inner consonance of the two constituents of our own self-consciousness, highly intellectual sensuality and a highly altruistic intellect. And on the basis of that we create and improve the new humanistic interrelations.